Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Rayon Kennedy, Managing Editor with Career Communications Group, and I'm being joined here today by Hameed. Today, we're going to cover a couple of topics. We're going to talk about STEM, some STEM careers, and the current state of events that we have going on here. Hameed, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. Just fine afternoon, doing pretty good. And you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm glad to have you here, man. I know we're on lockdown, but I appreciate you taking the time to kind of join us here. So, to kick things off, why don't you introduce yourself and kind of tell us about who you are, where you went to school, and your background?
Yeah, so as you know, my name's Hamid. I am a recent graduate from the University of Maryland, College Park, where I was able to study computer science with a minor in applied mathematics. And I just got, during my time at College Park, I was able to get like a wide range of experiences, ranging from not just the technical side, but there was also like a lot of like professional development experiences that I took part in, such as like conferences, internship workshops, fellowships. And I think it all just helped me prepare for success in life after the collegiate space. So I think that was very, very nice.
That's awesome, man. And I want to touch on all of that. Uh,
Okay.
but to start, why don't you tell me what is computer science?
Yeah. So computer science is generally just a study of how computers work. There's many like subdisciplines under computer science. In my case, I am going for like mobile development, but generally speaking, it's the study of essentially how computers work at the lower level and being able to essentially translate ideas into um, instructions that computers can process and essentially take actions based off of by means of coding or various other things. Yeah.
When did you know that computer science was going to be the path that you wanted to take?
Yeah. So it's funny. Like I think my earliest memory of like me like knowing I'd be going into computer science like software engineering would date back to like elementary school. Actually, I think it was like fifth grade. It was like a random day in class. We were just tasked of like looking at our different career paths and just like the different opportunities that could be available to you based on what you choose as a career. And I remember like looking at like software engineer, software developer related roles and just seeing like what opportunities were available there in terms of like how I could apply that and like build from there. And what made me want to choose computer science would just be the fact that I can like it's very nice just to see that with computer science you're able to translate an idea in your mind into something like an actual product or something that you can use to help people. And I think that's something that like really draws me towards the discipline, being able to like conceive an idea. Okay, what if we had something like this? There's nothing like that so far. Like what if we can innovate or build off of that, or how does that work? Like all these kind of questions that get your mind thinking. And then just trying to know the why and trying to like go ahead and like take action based off of that. I think that problem solving aspect was like very enticing for me.
Mhm. While at College Park, because I don't want to sugarcoat it for anybody, but what was
Yeah.
the hardest part of your major?
Ooh, the hardest part of the major. I think the hardest part of the major would be getting access to the right resources, like especially early on. I think that's a big thing. So in computer science, there's like a lot of students, or at University of Maryland's computer science program, there is like essentially it's one of the largest majors at the university. And with that in mind, there's like a lot of different students. So starting out in the entry level classes, you're gonna have a lot of like student to professor ratio is not the best if we were to put it that way.
Mm.
So just getting access to like certain help that you need, like especially me coming in, I didn't really have much programming experience entering college, so it was a like very steep learning curve for me. So just trying to find like the right group of people who's willing to like work through certain challenges with me that we both or that we like all mutually faced in terms of like getting used to like how to program, how to think about things programmatically, and essentially just getting access to like the right help. But I think that comes with time too, as you learn who to turn to best for help and like resources.
Hmm. Me. Right now, I'm going to turn you into a salesman. I know you study computer science, but right now, I want you
Okay.
to think like a salesman. If
Okay.
you were talking to a middle schooler right now, somebody who might be on the fence about pursuing computer science, what would you say to sell them on pursuing a computer science career?
Okay. So I'd say the first thing is that so a lot of the people like to say like you need math for computer science or you need like some kind of technical background. I think that could help, but computer science is for everyone. And I think the main selling point would just be the fact that I know like around this age you're probably like playing a lot of like phone games or like just trying to like mess around on the computer, see what like what's essentially like what's cool at the time. And I just try to tell them, okay, what if you're able to like make your own game, something that your friends could be playing too, and as well as yourself, like even your family members. Like this game that you're playing, something like Flappy Bird, for example. I know it's like really old, but
Yeah.
something along those lines, like the game that you're playing, it could be something that you could create yourself. And you can be able to showcase that to others. And I think from there you can start to get the ball rolling, just like further build upon that interest.
Now, I mean, uh, um, we part of the reason that I'm talking to you today is because I know that you attended one of our conference, the Bay of STEM conference. Uh,
Right.
Tell me a little bit about how you heard about the Bay of STEM conference, and then tell me a little bit about your experience when you attended.
Yeah. So with the BSM conference, I first heard about it through Rod Carter. So this was actually my senior year of high school back in 2016. Um, I was essentially able to connect with Rod, and he told me about the Bear conference. And even though I was in high school, he understood that. He's like, okay, yeah, this would be a great opportunity for you to grow, learn, develop professional skills as well as like networking. So I took that opportunity without any like prior experience or like any like expectations really. I didn't really know what to expect going into it. But it was a great opportunity in the sense that walking into the Bear conference, you see like the level of like excellence and professionalism within all the conference attendees. Like the way everyone like dressed and presented themselves, it wasn't something that I was used to coming from like essentially like a public high school environment. That's not something that you see too often. But there was a lot to be learned there. And I think while there, I got to see a lot of different companies. I was able to speak with, I think I have my notes here, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, just to name a few. And I was able to learn about like the projects that they're currently working on as the companies, as well as like their internship opportunities. And there's like a lot of like thoughtful, insightful conversations that I had there, and just to like, be able to be in the space of like Black excellence was like very great for me.
Yeah,
It was pretty cool.
yeah. Did you have a plan when you got to the career fair, or did you kind of wing it?
Um, yeah, so it was actually kind of bad when I first got there. I'm not too bad, but I just say like I didn't really come with resumes on hand. Even though I had a resume already created, I didn't think to bring one because it was my first experience of this nature. So I just wanted to see what it would be like. But going in, I think initially I was like nervous to talk to companies at the booths because it seems like kind of daunting. You don't really have much experience to talk about. But then eventually as the conference and the career fair went on, I just became more accustomed to like being able to just like walk up to a booth and like just start talking about what opportunity is or even like what the company does. So I just saw it as a learning experience. So I came in with the mentality of let's see what this conference could do. And then it shifted into I'm learning. I see what all these companies are doing great things. So it started to think, okay, how much can I learn? What can I take away from this? And actually, throughout my conversations with a lot of the people at the booths, as well as a lot of the speakers at the conference, I came out with two major takeaways that I had from like just interacting with conference attendees, and that would be one of them would be time management. That was a big one. So that's something a lot of people mentioned. Just being able to like be efficient with what you do with your time that carries over into like the college and like the workplace as well. And the second one would be to network. You never know where your network can take you, and those two things that I still like remember to like to this day actually.
I mean, I know you're a recent graduate.
Mhm.
Did you have any internships? Did you partake in any internships while you were studying?
Yeah, so speaking of internships, I was able to participate in a software engineering internship with Twitter San Francisco last summer. So this was a very great experience for me. I was able to like grow and learn a lot about the engineering process and just to see like what work would be like in this kind of environment.
That's awesome. Um, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. As you know, we're all in the middle of this pandemic, and
Mhm.
coronavirus has kind of affected everybody differently. As a recent grad, what has been your greatest challenge so far during this pandemic?
Yeah, I think one of my greatest challenges during this pandemic would just be being able to like, I guess, like stay motivated, because like
Hmm.
normally you would have that support group of essentially individuals around you that you see like always essentially like getting after it every day, doing great things. And now that you can't see that face to face, it's more of what can you do to keep yourself motivated? And by motivated, I mean from a new grass perspective, in terms of like learning new things, in terms of seeking opportunities, or even helping to connect others to opportunities. That's something I've been looking into recently as well. Just finding the creating a more structured approach to do these kind of things has been like one of like the most impactful things for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um,
Mhm.
um, 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 Sorry, I just had a question. It just flew out of my
Oh
head.
no,
Uh,
no, you're
uh,
fine.
so, as uh,
Because I would add as well,
yeah,
for like going through like the essentially like the adjustment process too. Um, I think it's also important to note that like also like staying like mentally fit, if that makes sense as well. I know a lot of people talk about being physically fit as well. Like it's important to have your exercise, but also like being able to have like a clear mindset for each day. So finding like little things here and there in order to keep yourself mentally sane would help as well during this time.
yeah.
This-
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I know it seems simple, but it flew out of my head. But you were saying you would find you have difficulty finding ways to challenge yourself and kind of stay busy. But
Mhm.
what answers did you come? How have you been doing that?
Yeah, so one of the ways I've been doing that is actually so I have a system where I like to see my tasks for like on a monthly basis, then a day by day basis, and then a weekly basis. And I can break that down as well. So what I do is I make sure that I have tasks to do. So instead of like going into the day without a certain objective, I know, okay, what is my plan? What do I need to accomplish? So this way, you're making progress towards particular goals. And the monthly overview comes in where I have a calendar, essentially like a generally like a whiteboard calendar for every month, and I can have like an overview of like what I'm going to accomplish for each day of that month. And I also have like my notes on the side, like general things that can be done later on. So creating that outline for yourself on a monthly view, and then on a weekly view too, you can see what you have to get done for that particular week by means of a to-do list, or even like I just take notes of like, okay, this has to get done later on. And then hold yourself accountable to that too is also a big thing. So not just setting the goals is a great thing, but also like holding yourself accountable. And I like to do that by like I guess like rewarding yourself when you know you got some things done for that particular day.
Yeah, you just feel good, feel
Yeah.
accomplished. I mean, sitting on the couch and watching TV all day is nice, but you can only do that for so often, for so long.
Right. Right.
Um, as a computer science major, how do you think you can improve the world through your work in the event of a future pandemic?
Hmm. I think so one great way to essentially do so would be um, being able to equip businesses with ways to essentially like mobilize their or essentially like diversify how they interact with their customers, because we see now like that's a big thing that's happening with as a result of this pandemic. A lot of businesses aren't able to like reach out to their essentially like their customer base, so they won't aren't able to like essentially function as regularly scheduled. And I think like creating a way that allows this kind of communication in the event of a pandemic, like you mentioned, or in the event of like any other kind of thing. So like moving more businesses to like the online space, I think would be very, very like effective and very like useful for these companies too. And then I think there's various approaches you can take, maybe through like partnerships with companies that already do that. So you could try to like help connect those companies, or you can like even take the tall task of like creating your own platform that'll allow like customers and businesses to like connect one another. But I think that's a big thing, creating different opportunities for businesses to reach their customers.
Hamid, I think we've had a great conversation so far. I have one more question for you, and that's what's next for you, man. I know you got a job lined up. What's next?
Yeah, so I guess I'll touch a little bit about the job that's lined up, and then my steps. I guess like my future plans after that, because I've actually been thinking about things in terms of like 4 year, 5 year plans actually as well. So the immediate next step would essentially be starting work at Square, working on Cash App. So I actually start this coming Monday. So I'll be an iOS engineer working on Cash App mobile. So that's going to be very interesting for me. I'm looking forward to that experience. So I also has been gathering, essentially been like gathering experiences, like preparing my mind like for that working time. Now I just essentially be working remote from here in Maryland. And then thinking about like the future next steps. So something I always wanted to do is essentially start my own like engineering business. So like my own like software engineering company. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm also just thinking about the different approaches, like different ways I could go about doing that, but also like learning as much in the process as possible. So by getting the internship experience, by attending the conferences, speaking with people, I've attended few different conferences, spoke to like a lot of different people, and I'm just like gathering knowledge and like essentially expertise to see what is the best way to go about doing that. Just learning as much as possible. I think that's a major component of that.
That sounds awesome, man. And we wish you all the luck, man. Getting ready to start on Monday. Wish you the best. We thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Uh, and if you need anything, just reach
Mhm.
out to me or Rod, and we'll help.
Okay, that sounds great. It's very great to hear that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody who watched. We'll see you next time.